You don't need to be a rich kid from an international school to live a global life. You can do it. It was not possible 50 years ago. It was not possible 100 years ago. You needed to have money. Now it's possible, but most people haven't realized it. I first came to Hong Kong, went from the airport into a bus going to Yuen Long, to a public housing estate like Long Peng Chun. And I was getting out of the bus, walking to this public housing estate at night. It was summer, very hot, very humid, even at night. As a European, I'm not used to that. But I was young, I was in a sense of adventure. That was after I did a year of backpacking in lots of countries. So I'm like, but I didn't grow up as a traveler. I grew up being stuck in a village in Germany, no chance to travel. I grew up in the countryside in the southwest. It's in a small village, population 800. One restaurant, one shop that was closed half of the time, and that's it. One bakery that's sometimes opened, and the rest just houses where people lived in. I had to ride a bicycle to school for 45 minutes through the forest. I grew up not seeing buildings taller than 5 floors. So just looking up and seeing buildings everywhere was already very different. I grew up not knowing what's the job of a security guard. We don't have those in Germany, not in the countryside at least. If you ask me, how to describe the difference? I don't even know where to find the similarities. It's just everything's different. When you go abroad, you see the things that don't work, because suddenly all the subconscious ways of being in the spotlight don't work anymore. And then it's very easy to be negative, to see all the negative things, and you feel like, oh, this place is annoying because of this. You start complaining about people. You start meeting your compatriots or fellow peers, and you all together complain about the locals in this place, and this becomes a death spiral. And for Hong Kongers it's quite normal, but for Germans I was the only one in my hometown who ever went abroad to study. And then there I met more people that made me join the student conference, and from there I met this Hong Kong guy. So it's always like an opportunity brings me to another and brings to another one, and through this I ended up in Hong Kong. Because I did not grow up international, I grew up very local in this village. And I never thought I would be one of these people traveling the world. That's always what I thought these international school, third culture kids can do. And I was never one of them. I was a village boy in rural Germany. But then I realized you can adopt yourself to be a global citizen. You don't need to be rich for that. You don't need to grow up in a diplomat family. And we all have heard Asia's world city as a slogan for Hong Kong, and some people are cynical about it. But I truly still believe so, at least compared to the place I grew up in, but also because it is incredibly dense. Dense means not just lots of people everywhere. It means lots of opportunities, lots of collisions of interesting personalities. So I think this is the perfect place for also the work that I'm doing, to spread global citizenship. Instead of saying, oh my God, I feel so uncomfortable in another culture, what is the fun encounters you had? What is the weird stuff you experienced about another culture that makes you go, why are you guys doing this, but in a more positive way? And so what we essentially do is we go in there and facilitate dialogues between people. We either simply help people connect with each other, help people understand each other, help people have conversations, small talk dialogue, but we can also help with immersion. We've had certain teachers or certain decision makers, whether it's teachers, whether it's politicians, whether it's other gatekeepers, who want to say, hey, can we bring more white people in because that looks cooler on prospectus. But our whole point is to create a fair worldview and celebrate diversity, make every culture and country interesting. And then, as we all know, there are lots of schools where minorities grow up that feel very excluded and feel it's very hard to be accepted as a multicultural society, because it is also very mono-ethnic in some ways. One of my managers, she is half Nepalese, half Filipina. So she grew up, born and raised in Hong Kong. She speaks fluent Cantonese, but still she's being othered, she's being stigmatized a lot. The minority speaks good English, yeah, you're still a minority. Somehow it feels like a very big double standard. We can feel objectified, or the nationalities that we bring in can feel objectified. We really want to help Hong Kongers be connected. We want to connect people to understand the world together. We believe it makes the world a better place, but we also believe it helps students with their competitiveness. It helps students with being inspired to do more in life.